Hi everyone, Professor John here, and this is a brief video showing you how to set up an Excel version of a Gantt chart. So I've just got some tasks listed here. This is how Gantt charts works. I've got tasks listed here, and the timelines are going to go across the top. This is an 11-week project made up. I'm going to drop it into a document. Let's have a quick look at the document. So what I've got is a document, it has a nice title I'm sure. I've got some text along here, and this is where I want my graphic to go. Now the thing is, every time you bring in a graphic into a document, you have to do a couple of things. Before the graphic appears for the first time, write in the text that the graphic is here. So this would say, blah, blah, blah in chart 1. This matches chart 1 here. You wouldn't put a highlight around this, but I just wanted to draw your attention to it. So this is my number and label for this particular graphic, and I'm putting it in Word because I'd rather do it here than try to put it in Excel. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it above this, so it's in this space here. But I have to make it droppable first, so I want to get to my nice Excel stuff here. So I've got 5 tasks listed. I've got an 11-week project. I want these columns all to fit. So I'm going to show you a little magic here if you don't know Excel. I'll just set this whole column up, just click on it and going to go to Format, and I'm going to auto-fit the column. And that's going to fit everything that's in here into this column. Now I have a whole bunch of these columns here. They're actually, if I do this, they're actually going to turn out to be a bit of a different size because the 2 numbers here versus here make these columns a little bit smaller. Now I happen to know that from having looked at this before, that the specific number here. So I'm just going to make all of these columns the same. So I can put in column width here. It's going to ask me how much. These are too big at 8.43, so maybe I'll just say 6. That's an easy number. Bang. I now have columns that are all exactly the same size. So, and if I want to bold all of these, I can do that. So I can just go over to the edge of here and click bold, and maybe bold this column and do the same thing. Now, I don't have text for the rest of this, so I don't need to bold anything else, but these are going to show up. So what I want to do is fill in the bars. And I'm going to create the bars using this particular fill color feature. I'm going to choose a different color here. Let's see, this one is nice and bright. And you can see what it would look like if I did that right away. So get rid of that for a moment and put these individual ones in. So in this particular project, task 1 lasts for 2 weeks. So I'm going to drop it in. Task 2 starts in week 1 as well, but goes for 3 weeks. And then task 3 starts in week 4 at the end of this one and goes to week 5, so another 2-week task. Task 4 starts in week 6, goes to week 8, I think. All right. And then task 5, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Task 5 actually is the finish of the project and evaluation in week 11. Now this doesn't look all that good, and I have this little background stuff in the back. I want to get rid of all these little background lines because when I copy and paste this to put in my Word document, I don't want any little stray bits and pieces. So I'm going to go to the View tab. I'm going to turn off my grid lines. So there they all are. But at the same time, I do want some grids for the actual data, and I do that under the Home tab. So what I'm going to do is, and you can actually do this particular version all in one go, actually. I'll just highlight all of this stuff. And I'm going to use this, which is a borders drop down, and I'm going to put my own little all borders here. And now I have something that, even though this grid line is, I get rid of it, I have all the stuff in the back, but I don't want that. If I'm cutting out, if I get little bits under here, I don't want that to show up. So get rid of the grid lines. But now I've got all of these tasks. They're in here. Apparently we're on vacation for a couple of weeks. And we can see the bars. They're moving across. If we were printing in color, we might maybe make different colors for some of the bars. Every second bar a different color so it doesn't bleed into each other. But we do have the borders here to help make sense of these. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. But now I want to get this into my Word document. So I've got to cut and paste or do something from Excel to drop it in here. And the fact is, I don't want to cut and paste. I'm going to use the snipping tool. The snipping tool is available in any Microsoft computer. It's in the accessories file if you don't know what it is. I always have mine in the action bar at the bottom so I don't have to hunt for it, but I'm going to click on it and get it started. Now it gives me an X, and what this does is allow me to draw what it is I want to snip. So there it is. I now have a graphic. I'm going to save this. It's going to save as a file. Then I look at it and said, oh no, I don't want that little thing, so let's do that again. I'll just get rid of this. I didn't want this highlighting to show up, and it will show up because this becomes a picture. So I'm going to get my cursor out of the way and make it nice and clean here. So I'll do the snip. There we are. Now put my X on the corner again. You can do it. There we go. Now I've got a nice clean thing. I could mark this up. I can highlight things if I want. There's some extra tools you can use here. But for now, all I want is this quick and dirty copy. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it to my desktop. And I've already got something called capture, but this is the new capture. Now this saves as a picture, a PNG file. So I can close that out here, and now I can go to my Word document. I can drop it in here, so I've got my cursor here. This is just an insert function, insert picture. Where did I save it? It was on my desktop. There it is. Bang. And notice now that because this is a snip, it saves or puts the image in to fit the size of the page. Plus, it allows me to make it bigger or smaller so that I made it easier to read or whatever. So there it is. It's now in there, and it's that simple. I've got a graphic here. I have a visual aid. I can see task 1 takes a couple of weeks. I can see task 3 takes a couple of weeks. The longest task is task 4. It's got 3 weeks to do, and then I've got a break before I do an assessment of the rest of this stuff. But here it is. So here's my document, my text notice of the graphic below. The number matches. So, you know, chart 1 here matches chart 1 up there, and you always have a number and a label. And because this is a chart, a particular type of graphic, the number label goes underneath it. All right. And then even below that, I might explain more about these, maybe who does them or whatever. So, you know, you just, this is a regular Word document, just keep typing. There you go. So it actually is a pretty quick and easy way to create a basic Gantt chart using Excel. You don't want to create a really extensive or really detailed one because that takes a whole lot more working out. But if you have a basic chart, you know, a basic set of tasks, and you can set up with the bars and everything. And even though this would print in black and white, these bars would be darker. The grids might not show up as well. You have to think about how these are going to work out. So I might do some different things. I might put bars in a different color to make that grid show, or I might alternate them so that they show differently. But there's all kinds of fussing around with anything you can do. But the basic thing of using Excel, taking it from here to the Word document, is pretty straightforward. I hope that helps.